Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down cutting-edge research into bite-sized conversations.
Today we're talking about something most of us have used, online translation. Think Google Translate or the automatic captions on a video. They're incredibly useful, but have you ever gotten a translation that was just weird?
Totally. Usually it's just funny, like translating a menu item into spicy shoe leather. But what if the mistake wasn't funny? What if it was dangerous?
That's exactly what today's paper is about. It's called Towards Reliable Machine Translation, Scaling LLMs for Critical Error Detection and Safety. It's by a team of researchers from Germany, and it tackles a really important problem.
And that problem is what they call critical meaning errors. These aren't just small grammatical mistakes. These are the kinds of errors that completely flip the meaning of a sentence.
Exactly. Imagine a medical instruction that says, "Do not take this medicine with food." About translation could flip that to, "You must take this medicine with food." Or translating a warning about a peanut allergy into a recommendation for a peanut-filled dish. In high-stakes situations like healthcare, legal aid, or finance, these errors can have serious consequences.
So we have these amazing translation tools, but they have this hidden vulnerability. They can make these critical mistakes. And what's worse, the traditional ways of measuring translation quality often miss them. They might give a translation a good score for being fluent, even if the core meaning is dangerously wrong.
This is where the researchers come in. They had an idea. What if we could build an AI referee? An AI whose only job is to look at a translation and spot these critical errors before they can cause harm.
And to build this referee, they turned to the most powerful AI tools we have today, large language models, or LLMs.
Right. An LLM is the technology behind tools like ChatGPT. It's an AI that's been trained on a massive amount of text from the internet, so it has a very sophisticated understanding of language, context, and nuance. The researchers wanted to see if they could teach these LLMs to become expert error detectors.
So how did they do that? Did they just ask ChatGPT, "Hey, is this a good translation?"
Pretty much, but in a very systematic way. They took an original sentence in English and a machine-generated translation in German. Then they gave it to an LLM with a simple task. Tell us if the German translation contains a critical error. The AI had to answer with a simple ERR for error or not for no error.
A simple yes or no question. But I imagine they didn't just test one AI model.
Not at all. They tested a whole range of them, from older, less complex models to the huge state-of-the-art LLMs. And they also tested different ways of teaching the AI how to do the task.
Okay, let's break that down. How do you teach an AI like this?
They tried three main methods, which are actually quite intuitive. The first is called zero shot. This is where you give the AI instructions but no examples. It's like handing someone a recipe and saying, "Bake this cake," even if they've never baked before.
So they just rely on their prior knowledge of language. What's the next method?
That's few shot. Here, you give the AI the same instructions, but you also show it a handful of examples. You'd say, "Here's a sentence with an error, and here are a few without." It's like showing the first-time baker a few photos of what the finished cake should and should not look like.
Okay, that makes sense. A little bit of guidance. And the third one?
The third method is called fine-tuning. This is the most intensive approach. It's where you take the AI and specifically train it on thousands and thousands of examples of correct and incorrect translations. This isn't just showing it a few pictures. This is like sending it to a full-on culinary school just for this one specific cake.
So you have different models and different training methods. They ran these experiments, gave the AIs a big test with lots of translations to check. What did they find? Who was the best student?
The results were really clear. First, the newer, more powerful LLMs were much better at spotting errors than the older models. Size and sophistication really mattered.
No big surprise there. But what about the training methods? Did sending the AI to culinary school actually work?
It worked brilliantly. Fine-tuning made a massive difference. A medium-sized model that had been fine-tuned could actually outperform a giant top-of-the-line model that was only given basic instructions. This is a fantastic result because it means you don't necessarily need the biggest, most expensive AI to do this well. a well-trained, specialized AI can be more effective.
So, a specialist is better than a generalist who's just winging it. That's a great finding. And the paper mentioned another neat trick they used, right? Something about a committee?
Yes, this was one of my favorite parts. Instead of relying on the judgment of a single AI, they would ask a small group of 3 AIs to check the same translation and then take the majority vote. This committee approach made their predictions even more stable and reliable, helping to smooth out any individual AI's quirks.
So, what does this all mean for us, the people who actually use translation tools every day?
It means we are getting closer to building a safety net for machine translation. Imagine if every time you used an online translator for something important, there was another AI in the background, this trained referee, double-checking the result for critical errors and flagging it if something seems dangerously wrong.
That would be a game changer for trust. It's about making these tools not just powerful, but also responsible. The paper frames this as socially responsible AI, and this feels like a perfect example.
Absolutely. This technology could help journalists working across language barriers prevent the spread of misinformation and ensure that public health announcements are communicated accurately to everyone, no matter what language they speak.
So, the big takeaway from this paper is that by cleverly using modern LLMs, we can create a powerful safety check to catch the most dangerous translation mistakes. It's a huge step towards making our increasingly global and digital world a little bit safer and more reliable for everyone.
Exactly. It's not about replacing the translator, but about giving it a trustworthy proofreader to catch the errors that truly matter.